It's time to cut the fluff and let's keep the fuel. Okay, streamlining your business and your energy actually drives growth. I think people need to understand that. It drives your growth all the time, but during difficult times, it really drives your growth. And so today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how do we cut the fluff, how do we keep the fuel, and how do we streamline our business to achieve. Welcome to Referral Roadmap. If you're ready to stop chasing clients and start attracting them through meaningful connections, you're in the right place. This is where we turn relationships into revenue, generosity into growth. Each week, we're going to explore strategies, stories, and my favorite, step-by-step actions that help you build a business fueled by referrals and relationships. Your next breakthrough starts right here. So let's go hit the road together. You know I'm so excited about this, and you guys, I have a wonderful guest today. I'm so excited, but you got to wait for a second. Jada, go a little bit deeper. Tell our listeners what the definition description so they can really understand what they're going to get today.
Yes, definitely. I love that you threw in that little teaser. We have a special guest, but didn't say who yet. But today we're going to be talking about, when things get hard in business, most people tend to add more, whether that's more tasks, more tools, just more noise in general. But growth doesn't come from the doing more. It comes from doing what actually works. And so today we're going to be talking about cutting that fluff. We'll talk about how to streamline your focus, protect your energy, and double down on the behaviors that are fueling your real growth. Because when things get tight, only the essentials survive. And that's exactly where your power is. So today, I'm sure Athena has a story for us. Is that right?
Do a short one because I don't want to take up a lot of time from um, our guest today, who is a friend of mine. So I'm really excited for her to be here. But I want to say this for those of you who are listening. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Please like, subscribe, but more importantly, please share. These are life changing business initiatives that people and life initiatives, honestly, that they're free. Okay, these podcasts can really change somebody's life. So please share these with people that you know that could benefit, not for me, not for Jada, not for our success, but for their success. So I just want to thank you for being here. If you're on the treadmill or in your car, please save this because you're going to want to take the notes as we do the rubber meets the road. And I know our guest is going to bring amazing things. But um, I want to come back to a story. As a coach and a consultant, one of the biggest things I see when people come into my doors is they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. They're scared, even if they don't say it. They're overwhelmed. They worry that the overwhelmed is a reflection of their competency or their ability. And that's scary because then that becomes limiting. And I want you to know that if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. Every single person who's come in my door has felt that way. Jada and I have both felt that way in business. And here's what I have learned when I lead other people. When I am able to sit down with them and we determine what the priorities are, the real priorities, life priorities, business priorities, and we actually narrow it down, a lot of that overwhelmed starts to go away. Not immediately, but it does go away. And it really starts your focus. Now, I was just talking to one of my favorite CEOs the other day. Zach, he owns a tech company out of Colorado. It's international. And he was reading my upcoming book. He's one of the 5 people who got to read it as we're finishing some of the editing. And he commented, Jada, on one of the parts of the book where he said, when you start tracking how the hours you're using in the week for the money making, life making things, how transformative that was. And so in his comments back to me, he said, hey, by the way, when I first did that, I realized I was only spending 12 hours of a 45 to 50 hour a week doing the things that actually were moving the needle in my business and life. And so he said, I don't know if you can include that in your book, but I think it's important that you do. And what he talked about is when he learned that, right? And we started focusing that how much more he could achieve. And so I want you guys to know focus equals reduction of stress and achievement. So I just want you to be excited about this. I know business can be overwhelming. I know, a lot of people, things are tough right now. Hey, anywhere we can take control and take a little bit of our energy back, that's what we want to do. So I'm really excited today to dig deep in with our guest. She is a friend of mine. She's a coaching client, and she is amazing. So I'm so excited for you guys to get to meet her. Jada, who is she?
She is Tina Curtis. She is honestly just the definition of a person that was built, not born. She was designed to transform from foster care to founder. She's growing a thriving real estate business, becoming a multi-million-dollar producer, built a design business and a podcast from the ground up through a no fluff formula of strategy, storytelling, and her soul. Armed with a master's in interior architecture and design, Tina delivers a bold triple threat approach in real estate design and marketing that helps her clients' properties command attention and drive those real results. Whether it's revitalizing communities, staging for impact, or helping others invest with intention, her work centers on purpose and passion to help guide others home. A co author of Resilient AF, she's also raised millions for local charities and helped push forward legislation, wow, that's a hard word, to support small business owners like herself. Off the mic and outside the office, Tina is a mom of two, a wife to her incredible husband of 18 years, a workout enthusiast, and a proud rescue dog owner. And her mission is to help people find their properties to reach their full potential, starting on the inside. So, Tina, thank you for being here. It's an honor to introduce you.
Thank you for having me.
Look at that bio. Do you just feel amazing right now? I mean, you should. That was a pretty awesome bio.
Yes, when I think sometimes we get lost in the minutia, and then when we stop and start looking at the big picture and the impact that we've had, we realize we really are making a difference. And it may not seem like it on the day to day, but on the week to week, the month to month, and the years to years, it really is. And that's what is really important.
Yeah, I love
Love
that.
that.
Well, you have such an inspiring story, and that's real. I wanted you to be here today because you have lots of reasons to have excuses, and you just
Sure.
don't make them. You don't make
No,
excuses. You do not.
no.
And I love that about you. And you have just such a. I hope people can see this if you're watching this on YouTube, and I'm sure you're gonna also feel it through. She has a beautiful energy. She walks in a room and she changes the atmosphere in a room. And you can tell that if you listen to her story because, well, she is not somebody who sits back and let life dictate her. She dictates life. So you can feel that energy when you're around her. And I love that. But I want to go deep. You and I could have so many conversations to help many people. I know this won't be the last time you're on this podcast. I know you're going to be a guest on my other That Shit Doesn't Define You podcast because you're just multifaceted and successful. But today I really want to go into the focus aspect. And when you first started your journey, your business had a lot of moving parts, right? What
Yes.
made you realize that doing more wasn't actually getting you the results you wanted?
So for me, it was, and this is going to sound probably like an oversimplification, but I am really a firm believer of radical honesty.
Hmm.
And, I was willing to have the hard conversations with my clients, but I had to have the hard conversation with myself. What's
Hmm.
working and what isn't working. And when I looked at the facts, it was clear what was working and what wasn't. And doing more wasn't. It was keeping me from actually doing more because I was so focused on running my business that it was running me. And so I had to just stop and step back and say, hey, I need to run my business. And what are the tools? How can I do that? And that's where the systems come into play.
You know, l- we'll go into the systems, but and I know that you are unique. You have a very high EQ, which is emotional intelligence and awareness. But for somebody listening right now who maybe is struggling with that, Tina, what were some of the things that you started to see or feel so that they could identify as well with you?
Well, we hear the word burnout a lot, but we don't really talk about what it means to burn out.
Mhm,
And for me, I was exhausted.
mhm,
I didn't have that enthusiasm and that passion to serve the way that I had when I first started before I tried to do everything for everyone. And that was a huge wake up for me because like I literally was hitting a wall because I was so exhausted. And it was to the point of where either I did something different or I would quit. And it got to that point for me. Now, it doesn't always get to that point for people, but for me it did. Like I'm stubborn. I know it's going to work, but what I wasn't realizing is what I was doing wasn't working. My
mhm,
ideas would work, but I had to have a system in place for them to work instead of me doing it all.
mhm.
Instead of being at the center of my business, I needed systems at the center of my business. So that way I could go out and do the other things to bring in the business.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Systems are so critical. I don't think that people really understand just how critical they are. And we talk a lot about how, you can't be, there's not enough motivation, discipline without systems. I'm just going to tell you, you have to
No.
have systems.
And it's not about motivation or determination. If it was, I think so many of us would be just killing it. But
Right.
that's not really what it is. We have so much energy in a day and
Yeah.
so many hours in a day. And when we're trying to do all the things, that takes up our energy, it takes up our time. And those are valuable resources for us.
Yeah.
So we have to decide, is this something that I'm going to keep doing? Or is this something that I can have someone else do? Or is this something that I just don't even need to worry about?
Hmm. Yeah.
And my thing is drop it or delegate it. Do I need to drop it or do I need to delegate it? And if it's not something vital for me, but it's still vital for the business, I have to delegate it because it
Hmm.
still has to get done. If it doesn't need to be done by me or somebody else, I drop it.
Mm. So I mean, you're a super deep thinker, and I know you carry a lot. I mean, you have a lot going on in your life and your business and the
Two
philanthropic
things.
work you do, right?
Yeah.
But what helped you decide on what things you just talked about, drop it or delegate it. What helped you decide, like, what are the things that are the drop or delegate? And what are the things that Tina had to double down on? I mean, what helped you figure that out? I mean, that is so difficult for so many people.
Well, and it was difficult for me. One of the things I did was I hired a business coach. So I'm going to give you a shameless plug here because I was literally at a place where I didn't think I could afford it. But I also couldn't afford to keep doing what I was doing and pushing forward and pushing forward. So I decided that I couldn't afford it, but I was going to take that huge leap of faith and do it anyway because I knew I needed to do something. I needed a change. And so clearing out the clutter helped with that. But really, it's what are my vital responsibilities as the owner? I have
Mhm.
to look at it from an owner mentality, not a manager mentality.
Mhm.
And that was a big shift for me because I had been in a lot of management type roles, but walking into the founder, the owner, that was different.
Mhm.
And I had to look at it from that perspective. So when I started looking at it from that, shifting the mindset from manager to owner, holding myself responsible for everything, whether it was a success or a failure, was huge.
Mhm.
So that I would say we have to be able to do that
Mhm.
because you have to be able to see it from that perspective because then your priorities really shift and things do become clearer.
Mhm.
If it wasn't a vital responsibility for me, then and it wasn't vital for the business, I delegated it. So, if you want a business, you have to have business.
Mm.
I needed to
Mic
be
drop.
able
Hold on, I'm gonna interrupt
Yes,
you. That was a mic
yes.
drop moment. You want
I
business,
mean,
you have to what? What would say it again?
if you want a business, you have to have business. I mean, that's we're cutting the fluff. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything for you.
No. Yeah.
Um, I had to give myself some tough love in that. And I think that's where some of this comes from is I know what I had to do for myself to get to where I am. And for those who are really ready, I think they're going to have that tough conversation with themselves. They're going
Mhm.
to give themselves some tough love so that way they can get to where they need to be. So yeah, and if I need to have business, but I'm so busy trying to run the business, like, where does that leave me? It leaves me spinning my wheels, feeling like I'm stuck in the mud. And we all know when you're stuck in the mud, you can't just keep pushing on the gas and you're going to keep spinning your wheels. You're going to get further stuck in the mud. And then you have to call a tow truck. Tow truck's going to have to get you out of the mud, right?
Yeah.
For me, systems were getting me out of the mud. That was the tow truck.
Mhm.
And,
Absolutely.
I couldn't implement all these massive systems and like a big corporation. I had to look at where I was at my size and do what I could do,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and I wanna encourage so a couple of things that you said, I wanna really make sure that people heard, and we've got the mic drop moment because that was beautiful. Um, and we just might quote you on my social media because that was so awesome. But I do want to say that you said a couple of things I want to make sure our listeners hear. One, you're willing to give yourself some tough love. You're willing to have those tough conversations with yourself. I
Yes.
think that's critical. Right? I mean, we've got to be able to do now. I want to differentiate, and Tina, I know this is maybe I'm speaking for you. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think your heart agrees with this. That doesn't mean shaming yourself. That doesn't mean degrading yourself. It means
Absolutely
just
not.
being honest, right?
It's a different conversation. It's not, I'm a bad person or I'm not enough or my goals and dreams are too big. It's not anything about who you are as a person. It's what you're doing and what you're focusing on, your actions, your activities, your behaviors. And that's what you have to focus on. You have to separate yourself from not being enough and the imposter syndrome that can happen and focus on what you're actually doing.
Yes. Good.
We,
I want it. Go ahead.
in personal relationships, we think when we're dating someone or our friends, we look at their actions. If the actions and the words don't match, that's a huge red flag. Well, it's the same thing in business. Your actions need to match your words. And if they don't, you've got to step back and figure out what can be done differently.
Absolutely. Love that. Thank you for going a little bit deeper on that one because the other thing, and I know she is one of my clients, so I know we're doing a plug here, but even if I'm not your coach, get help. I think
Right.
I have coaches, I have mentors and coaches. I need them. We all need them. You know, the best Olympian or athlete has coaches. So don't do it alone. Okay. Don't do it alone. The other thing that I want to make sure that you guys heard from this is that I love what you said. I'm not a big corporation, but I invested in myself and I treated myself like a business. You guys, if you're listening right now and you're like, "Well, I'm not a big business. I don't need systems." That's wrong. And you can start at anywhere. Okay? You can be barely making it financially and you can do some of the things that Tina's talking about and it doesn't matter if you're barely making it, it will help you get to the next level. So no matter where you're at on the spectrum here, this is wisdom no matter where. And I know Tina wants you to hear that. I want you to hear that. Okay? No matter where you're at, there's opportunity with the wisdom she's giving you to scale, right?
It is. And I mean, that's the thing is we also have to look at the tools we already are using and
Yes.
see if we can use them in other ways that would still be helpful. For instance, on my phone, I have a journal app and it's free. Of course, you can do a subscription and do all the things, but what I use is the free version. And I go in every week and I have a priorities list and I put all my priorities on there. And then I start looking at what is actually a must do or is it a would like to do. And if
Mhm.
it's a would like to do, it goes at the bottom of the list. And I focus on the must do's. And with the free version, I get plenty of, I don't know, I guess features that work for me. It's not complicated. I don't, I'm old school in that way because I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. We had to be resourceful because we didn't have technology the way we have it now. And so I kind of rely on that and fall back on the stuff I used growing up. And as I grow, I can implement something a little fancier, but it doesn't mean I break the bank.
Absolutely. All right, so Tina, I have a question. We've talked a little bit about systems and the importance of them. What systems or habits? I know that what you just described was one of them, but what systems and habit help you simplify your business and protect your energy?
Well, I have a CRM and I know people, it took me a little bit to get on the CRM train. And now I'm like, why was I so stubborn about doing that? And, that's reality. But once I got on it and started doing it, it freed me up
Mhm.
because it did some of the work on the back end that I was trying to do myself and was consuming my time. And now I don't worry about it. When I go to sleep at night, my business is still running, it's still working, and I'm not physically present. So I think that's a big thing. And I know people are going to say, well, what CRM? And what everyone always told me, and it would frustrate me, is the one that you will use. And that is true to an extent. I've tried multiple ones and finally found one that works for me. But it's also specific to my industry. So I think that is something that I would say to look for. See if other people in your industry are using a specific one, or if there's a popular one that keeps coming up. Look into it, watch the videos, do the free demos. Get on a call with somebody and say, hey, walk me through this. And a lot of times they have sales reps who will. And you can see, okay, is this going to work for me? Or do a free trial. I did several of those and I could tell by the end this isn't going to work for me because it's overly complicated or I just want something simple. I think you
Mhm.
have to be able to say, yes, this works. No, it doesn't.
Absolutely. And by the way, those listening, I did not pay her to say get a CRM.
No,
But I'm like, "Yes, yes." I
no.
hope you heard that. I don't own a CRM company, I promise, but yes, you have to have a CRM. But what other systems? I mean, I know the CRM, anything else that was like, "Wow, that was so helpful?"
The CRM was huge. I would say doing the priorities so that way I know what my tasks are for the week and for each project. And then automation.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anything that you can automate, whether it's through the CRM, through tasks, through email, whatever it is, automate. And that has been huge for me because when it's automated, you schedule it and it goes. You don't have to be there right then to send the email or whatever it is you want to send. And some CRMs are set up to send text and make phone calls for you. So that could be important for someone.
Yeah. But absolutely. I mean, in today's technology age, if you're not optimizing that, automation, you really need to stop and think about it because there are things that really allow you to get time back. Not
Yes.
things that are not the things that you need to be doing. So there's a lot of different automation tools, and most good CRMs have them. So I absolutely agree with you. Huge. I know Jada, you use a lot of automation, don't you?
Mhm. Yep, I sure do
Y-
on both sides
Yeah.
of the businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's automation has been a huge game changer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, it
So
really has.
I know, well, automation, I think that's one of the things, and I know I'm laboring on the CRM here, and I apologize, but in most CRMs, it has the automation that you need in it. So it's not
Yes.
just a database situation, and making sure that you have all the information that you need to for all of your database, but it also has tools to make your life easier. So really, and I agree with Tina, look at your industry, find out what is the best CRM for you within your industry. Very, very important. I know that's how we picked mine, is I looked at somebody that's in my industry who's a huge successful person. I like, what are you using? That's what I'm gonna go after, right? I mean, that's how I picked mine.
Right.
Um, this is I'm excited to ask you this next question because I'm hoping people are gonna really resonate. But what surprised you most about yourself when you finally got focused, cleared the noise, and started to see how capable you were?
Ooh. Um, what I was surprised most by is that how wrong I was. You know what I mean? Okay. So I think sometimes we focus on wanting to be right or to control things. And when I let go and let the system start working for me, it not only freed up my time, but it freed up my mental space. It just was such a weight off that I could see, okay, by trying to do everything for everyone, it was trying to control outcomes instead of focusing on really where my heart was, which is to serve people. And that was a big thing. It was like a breath. My brain took a breath and was like, okay, let's focus on these other things. So then I was able to, you know, declutter all the chaos in my mind,
Mm,
and in that, it gave me lots of ideas, ways I could better serve my clients, how I could actually be of service
mhm.
instead of just servicing the back end.
I love that. I love that. I know that just being on the journey with you, one of the most beautiful things to watch as you implemented all of this, and really you took control of your business and your business not controlling you, which is a huge. If I had an award, I should have given it to you because I was so excited. But the fun part outside of watching you achieve is two things. One, you determining how big you want your business. That is a
Right.
fun place as a consultant coach. A lot of people think, "Oh, you're just trying to make people richer." No, I'm trying to help people achieve what they want. And to sit back and watch you say, "You know what? I think this is as big as I want because I want these other things," and be able to control that. That was beautiful to watch. But the other thing is how you doing this process allowed you more space for your beautiful creativity,
Yes.
and watching your creativity come alive and just watching it blossom that was always there, right?
Right.
That from my perspective, those were two of the things. There's a lot of things I'm proud of you, but those were fun to watch.
It was, I mean, it wasn't fun to go through, but it was I mean, if we're gonna be honest, it wasn't fun to go through, but it's been fun to be on the other side of it and be able to look back and say, "Okay, yes, I really was deep in the weeds, but I got through it, and here we are on this other side," because I kept thinking that if I did everything for everyone and was everywhere all the time, I would have it all. Well, that was the limiting belief. It was realizing that in not doing it all is allowing me to have it all.
Love that. I love that. All right, ma'am. Last
Yes.
question. Somebody's listening and they're juggling too much. They feel stuck. They're unsure what to cut. What would you tell them? What advice would you tell the people listening?
I would tell them to quit letting their business run them
Mm.
and focus on running their business, because I can't run my business from behind a desk. There's no way I'm gonna bring in more business just by posting on social media, just by sending emails. I need to go out and build the relationships and make the connections. I can't do that from behind a desk. It's just impossible. So you've got to be able to focus on what's actually important for running your business and the tools you need to run your business.
Love that. Well, stay with us as we continue. I might have some more questions for you or get your insight on something, but I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being transparent, sharing your story. And I hope that people really took to heart some of the wisdom that you gave them. Thank you so much for being here, friend.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Jada, you know what's next. And listeners, you know what's next is we always like to back these up. We like to create a topic. We want to get a story so you understand real life. Then we want to back it up with some science. Okay. And then we'll end it with where the rubber meets the road. What do you do with it? So tell us the science.
All right. I'm happy to give you the science. And Athena, I think you're going to like my first set of science.
Oh,
Goes
good.
along with something you preach. And so, according to the American Psychological Association, multitasking lowers productivity by up to 40%, and switching tasks can take the brain up to 23 minutes to refocus. It's a
All
long
right,
time.
Jada. Now, you and I have had a podcast before where we disagreed on this. Are you agreeing more or less?
Oh, I think I agree for 99% of people on this earth, multitasking is not good.
I love it.
I
I love
think there
it.
is a rare 1% that can do it well when it is repeatable tasks that are just part of their mundane job, not
Yep.
necessarily something that is a big project. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yep, I get you. Jada's one of those weird people that actually can still be productive and multitask. She always pushes back on this, and that's why I wanted to give her that space because there may be somebody out there that is the very small percentage, but the majority of us, me being one of them, it lowers our productivity. So really know who you are and know how it's going to impact you. All right,
Yeah.
what's next?
Well, I will say too, since we had our last debate, on I don't even remember what season it was. It was
I
probably
don't
season
even.
2. It's been a minute ago. But I have started closing out my email during the day. So I open it during not random. It's on my schedule for time blocking, of course, but I open it at times of the day. And that is whenever I respond to emails and go through my inbox. Whereas I used to keep it open and it was just kind of like I wouldn't always check it, but it'd be a tab open so I could see how many emails were in there. So we'll
Oh,
say I've gotten better at that, Athena.
yay! All right, that's good. That's good.
But
Yay!
the second set of research I found indicated that businesses that define and track just 3 key priorities each quarter grow 2 times faster than those trying to juggle 10 or more.
hmm
So
Yeah.
someone trying to juggle 10 priorities or more is just it's a lot. But what I really took away from that study is that focus is a multiplier. So the fewer things that you chase, the more likely you are to actually catch the thing that matters or something that matters. So and then the third set of research I found indicated that founders and CEOs who systematize their businesses, so like we were talking about, see a 42% increase in growth and a 34% improvement in team productivity. So really systems don't slow you down. They create that space to grow without burning out. And Tina, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one because I feel like it ties directly back into what we were talking about. Do you agree?
Hey, I haven't looked at the exact percentage, but I can certainly confirm that having the systems has helped my business to grow, because while I'm busy taking care of my clients, my systems are busy taking care of my business. So that
Mm,
allows me to be more productive. And if you're more productive, and let's not confuse busy with productive.
Amen.
Okay. I can be busy checking my email, but that doesn't mean I'm being productive and bringing in business and building
yeah.
relationships.
Mhm.
So being able to have the systems in place to focus on my business, I can go out and bring in the business, build the relationships, let people know about me, that I'm a real person and this is what I provide, this is what I do. This is my unique value proposition and what I bring to the table.
Mm,
And I think
Mhm.
that's important in the industry that I'm in because real estate is saturated with tons of agents.
mm,
So what distinguishes me from another?
mhm.
Well, nothing if I don't have a system in place to help me run my business.
Mhm.
Amen.
Preach it. Preach
Love it.
it.
I just had to bring you back in for that one because I was like, man,
Yes.
that really just goes in line exactly with what we were talking about as far as like systematizing, automating,
Mhm.
those that sort of thing.
Yes.
So I had to bring you back into the conversation, of course.
Yes, I
Awesome.
mean, I agree with these statistics.
Uh-huh. I do too, and I'm gonna say these statistics were dead on. We laugh about this all the time, but Jada picks these statistics before we do the interview. So we do the interview and then she already has those. And so it's fun to watch how the science, I would say 95% of the time, the science is dead on. So
Mhm,
I really want you guys to understand that because this is real life, real science. So this is real strategy. This is real things to change your trajectory. So I really hope that you guys understand that. And I want to go into the rubber meets the road. Like, what do you do with all of this? Because that was something that in coaching a long time ago, and both of you know this story, but I had a coach that would tell me all this stuff but never tell me what to do with it. That uh, right? I need how do I apply it to make change? So here's what we do. Rubber meets the road. Number one thing I want you guys to think about, and I really hope, if you're on your treadmill or in your car, please save this because you're going to want to write these things down. Eventually, someday, Jada and I are going to need to have a book available for you that is for this podcast so that you can be writing all of your podcast notes, but with time. All right. So, number one, list everything you're doing. I know, Tina, I made you do this. Remember this? That's the activity that everybody hates when they first start coaching with me, by the way. But Jada's had to do it.
I
I've had to
have,
do it.
actually multiple times.
Yes. And so write it out. Write out everything that you're doing, then ruthlessly cut what doesn't move the needle. Okay. You need to really sit down and think about it. And I don't want you to get too stuck in it. I want you just to write it down. Don't try to prioritize. Just write down everything you're doing. Okay. And write it out. And then ask yourself what on there are the things that are actually growing my business or sustaining my business. Okay. And then ask yourself, what are those things that are only I can do? What are the Tina only things, Jada only things, the Athena only things? What are the things only you can do? And then you need to ask yourself this other stuff that you're doing, can it be, have a different due date? Can it be delegated? Can it be automated? Okay. Very important. You need to take assessment of all that you're doing. I will say this, Tina, you mentioned this busy is not productive. Busy has become like a badge of honor. Like, I'm so busy, therefore I'm something. Busy is actually creative avoidance. Busy, by the way, is a numbing exercise, and busy is a coping mechanism, everyone. Okay. Busy is a sign of trauma, out of control, and lack of focus. It is not something to be proud of. Productive is different than busy. Super, super important. And I say that as a busyaholic who used to be proud of it. So I'm saying it authentically. I used to be that person and I had to learn in order to move the needle in my life and do all the things that were on my heart. So just to let you know, I know that sucks if you're listening, you're like, oh, but I like telling people I'm busy. Be productive. Number two, define your one thing. Okay. And there's a good, Gary Keller has a great book, Jada. It's called The One Thing. And it's a great little read. And really what it is like, what is the one thing in the next 30 days I have got to do? What's the single most important thing I have to move the needle? Or what is the one thing every single day that I need to be doing in order to ensure my business growth? Y'all know what I'm going to say. You need to be prospecting or nurturing or following up. right? I'm just going to say those are always the things. But that's a really good book to help you if you need some of that. But think of one thing. Our brain can only start so many new habits at a time. So give yourself some grace and start one thing and then build on it. All right. Number 3, create a repeatable system. Okay. Start creating a repeatable system. You can start with a follow-up system. You can start with an onboarding, a content creation, whatever it is, start one system that you're going to implement. This is one of the biggest reasons, and I'm going to do a shameless plug here. My book will be coming out. It now is in multiple publishers' hands, and we are excited. And it will actually define well systems. It's my 10-step system. It's a system that compounds on itself. Jada will, you've gotten to read it, Jada. It will, if you read it and apply it, it could change your life. I'm just going to be honest. But we have finally gotten it into the right people's hands to help this be the best it can be so that when we go to market with it, you can get a copy of it, and you can apply it and it can change you. And all of it is about a system. So you need to start creating systems. And I'm really excited about the book to come out because um, I think it's going to change people's lives. So I'm excited about that.
You're not the
Number,
only one.
I know. I'm like, anyway, it's taken me long enough. I mean, you talk about Tina, 6 years, 6 years,
It's
Does it
going off
matter how long
elementary
it
school.
takes as long as it happens?
right? Oh
There
my
I
you
gosh.
go.
mean,
Well,
that's
it's coming out when it needs to come out. It's what is happening. But
that's right.
number 4, block 90 minutes a day to do deep work. No exceptions. Now, we talk about time blocking on this podcast a lot. We've done a whole series on it. You guys, non negotiable. Start with just 90 minutes a day if that's all you time block. But do the thing that you have to do that is going to move the needle. Take time, close out the tabs, and get busy doing the things that move the needle. The other thing that I highly suggest is once a week. Tina, you and I have talked about this. I have to do it for myself. Um, Time block a 90-minute section a week where you work on your business, not in your business, where you're thinking about the bigger things, where you're thinking about what is working, what's not working, what strategies are working, where you're analyzing. Okay. So there's working on and in, and I got it. You got to do both. But time block daily the activities that are going to move the needle, and time block at least once a week where you can reflect on your business and think about your business as a business owner. Okay, very important. I know Jada, on Fridays, I've made her block out some time for me because I found myself doing so much in it that I wasn't thinking on it. And I was like, hello, you preach this, you better do it. Right. So I'm like, hold on, Houston, we have a problem. So, final thing, you guys, take action today. Pick one thing of all the 4 things I told you and start doing it right now. Do not let things steal your energy. You're too important. Your business is important. I want you to live a full, wonderful, productive life like Tina has done. She is the prime example, you guys. And I know we're gonna list. I know Jada will list how to contact her. She has the biggest heart. She wants people to succeed. If you want more information on how she did this, I know she would talk to you. But I'm telling you, she has done what we're talking about today. She has done it. She's living it. She's breathing it. And it allows her to be the mom, the wife, the philanthropic person, the friend, the real estate partner, all of those things while she's running and achieving in business. So kudos to you, Tina. I couldn't be more proud of you. I told you that, but now on air, I'm going to tell you just how proud I am. I told her I would give her a little Oscar if I could because I'm so proud of her. But go ahead.
I just said thank you.
You're welcome. It's just fun. This is for me when people actually want to change and they take it and they do something with it and they change their life. That for me is like, I just get all excited. So,
It is exciting.
it is. It's so exciting. And that's what we want for you guys who are listening. We want transformation. We want you to realize just how amazing you are and what you're capable of. So, Jada, how do we connect with our beautiful friend?
That's a great question. It was a great segue that you were setting me up for. So, Tina, how do people get connected with you? I have your website, but is there any other method of outreach that you want people to, communicate with you through?
They can reach me on social media, on Facebook. It's under the Okie Homegirl, and on Instagram, it's the Tina Curtis. Like my website is thetinacurtis.com. Um, Phone is always great. You can call, text 405-219-1857, and or email is thetinacurtis@gmail.com.
I love that everything is the Tina Curtis because you are the Tina
That's
Curtis.
right. I
I
am.
love it. Awesome. Well, I'll make sure that your social medias, your phone number, email, and your website are all linked in the show notes. That way, if anyone was, driving in the car listening to this and they didn't get a chance to write that down, it'll be in the show notes for them to click.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Other than that, I'm going to link the book that Athena mentioned, Gary Keller, The One Thing. Make sure that's in the show notes. And then I will also include a link for you to download the season 6 resource guide. Has goodies from every episode this season. We do have a few more episodes, so you might get a little sneak peek if you go download. But if you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to the first 5 episodes, would highly encourage it. And then just want to invite you all to like and subscribe so you can join us next week as Athena brings some more real talk and real strategies. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.